getting Jonnu Smith shouldn't have been allowed to happen. The Steelers have been searching for another playmaker to add to this offense, for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. They were flirting with getting Jonnu Smith for a while now, but Miami was hesitant to let him go because he was a really big part of their offense last year. A lot of teams play Miami with two high safeties, and when you play too high, it allows a guy like Jonnu Smith to eat underneath and in the middle of the defense. And losing Kim was definitely a huge loss to that offense, but it's a huge addition to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense because he reunites with Arthur Smith, who really got his career trending up in Atlanta. And there was a lot of controversy around how Arthur Smith was giving Jonnu Smith more action, more targets than Kyle Pitts, and it was for a very good reason. Not only is this dude a monster in the passing game, but he also is a really good run blocker. And he's coming off the best season of his career. He had 88 catches, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns. The dude was a fantasy football superhero last year, and now he forms what has to be the best tight end duo in the National Football League with him and Pat Freiermuth, which is what Arthur Smith wants. He wants to have two good tight ends on the field at the same time because he runs a lot of two tight end sets. And with two guys that are also not just good route runners and pass catchers, but also really good run blockers, it adds unpredictability to the Steelers' offense that they've lacked for these last couple of years. When you put Darnell Washington on the field, you know the Steelers 8 times out of 10 are going to run the football because Darnell Washington is a great run blocker, but he's not good in passing downs because he's a really raw route runner, and he also doesn't have reliable hands. Jonnu Smith gives you the best of both worlds. You got a great pass catcher, but you also have a willing run blocker as well. And the Aaron Rodgers gets another target to throw the football to. And you don't always need to necessarily have a star-studded supporting cast of wide receivers to be an effective offense. There's a high amount of offenses that still run a bunch of two tight end sets, like Sean McVay. A handful of other guys like to have two tight ends on the field because it makes it hard for the defense to guess what's coming. Are you going to throw the football? Are you going to run it? Or are you going to hit us with play action? And there aren't too many teams that have the personnel equipped to stop the duo of Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. So bringing Jonnu Smith in kind of makes up for the loss of George Pickens because he's a really good playmaker. And he is about to enter that age of 30 when you expect to see guys regress. But Jonnu Smith has started to play his best football as he's gotten older. And sometimes you have guys that get better with age, like Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward has been one of the best interior defensive linemen on the other side of 30. That's when he just has flipped the switch and just has become a stud. And we are starting to see the same thing with Jonnu Smith. And Jonnu Smith, I think the best has yet to come from him. He still is capable of much more. If you're putting up the kind of numbers that he did last season with the situation Miami had at quarterback, when you had all kinds of randos such as Tyler Huntley throwing him passes, imagine what he can do with the bad man Aaron Rodgers slinging him that football underneath center. This shouldn't have been allowed to happen. The Steelers shouldn't have been able to get Jonnu Smith for the price that they did. The NFL should have vetoed this trade. I'm going to just be honest with you. The last thing the Steelers offense needed was another dynamic playmaker, and that's what Jonnu Smith is.